There we go, 20 minutes late. 25 minutes late. Where is everybody? Mike Hill. Mike, shouldn't you be flying now? What time is it? Sandra. Where have you been, Sandra? It's been a while. What's the magic number today? We're at 51. We're at Justin Barsha. What about AC? 92? Or Roxanne. Roxanne got injured again. Let's dedicate this Facebook Live to Ken Roxanne. 94. We need 94 people on there. Just spam away. I'm going to keep working until we get 94 people. Got a lot to do here. I'm gonna be running almost every day actually. Sunday or Monday. No, not Monday. Monday we're driving to Arizona. Sunday, most likely Thunder Alley. Liam, I asked you when you're gonna be ready. I have all the info. 150. Sandra, you must not have been following this. We're going for Ken Roxanne, 94. Anthony's here. It's too bad Anthony's number's too big, otherwise we could dedicate the Facebook Lives to him. 75. We're at Josh Hill. You know, we've talked enough about pistons, but I'll mention pistons. I'll go through the whole setup. Anthony knows I'm doing this Facebook Live, and then he texts me. What an idiot. 79. Who's 79? I don't even know. Well, I'll just keep walking. I guess you don't want this to start, do you? It's up to you. You want some DNC setup advice or not? Kato Keijo täällä. Anthony must love you. Of course he loves me. 88, 90. We're so close. I'm gonna call next. I'm gonna have to block Anthony. And we're at AC level. But now AC faded. We're going down again. It's like AC in the races. Gets the whole shot and then fades. Gets arm pump. AC again, back in the lead. Oh, he's going backwards again. Sexton, where's the Supercross this coming weekend? It's East Coast, I think. isn't it? How can Sexton win? He's running West Coast. Dummy. We're never going to make 94. You need to share this with Captain Club Race. For fuck's sake. What's wrong with you people? Just, you know, spam a few people. Get your mom to watch. You just need 10 more people. Okay, Lance is on. Lance is going to handle it. Sit back and let Lance handle it. What was it? Keep calm and let Lance handle it. Lancelot's going to share this and we're going to go up in views. Look, we're going up already. Boom. 94. Thanks, Lancelot. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to have to start this. Let me just send this email first. Where was it? Too many files on my laptop. I can't find the file. Okay, so start thinking of setup questions for DNC. I'm going to go over my basic setup, but if you have questions, then this is the time to ask. I'm drinking Arizona. Mucho mango. The best. Captain Snowflake. Is that my name? We've got Captain Club Race and Captain Snowflake. Shit, where is this? I know I have this file somewhere. Found it. Email being sent. Okay, let's start. Facebook Queen. Hey, I'm not the one watching this, I'm doing this. Okay, Anthony? So let's start DNC. DNC, normally big track, big jumps. It starts off kind of weird. The track is damp, a bit bumpy already. Joey kind of doesn't really like packing the track, smoothing it out. Then it starts breaking up in sections, it dries up, it gets a bit of a groove, especially in the daytime. So daytime, if it's dry, it gets higher grip, a bit edgy even. Then if they water the track, which they sometimes do randomly, which really sucks, and maybe not even the whole track, and then it gets really slippery in the beginning of the run. Then as the track dries, then it gets higher and higher grip. So it's a very unfair way to run qualifying and very inconsistent. So you need your car to be very easy to drive, predictable, and it needs to work the same on a loose track or a high grip track. So you need a very good basic setup for the track. So I think the first thing to talk about is tires. That's the most important thing. If you're running the wrong tires, then it doesn't matter what you do to your car, you're going to be slow. So for DNC, the only tires you need from AKA are gridirons and impacts. It will be run wet this year. It's always run wet. But the thing is that they don't always water the track, and sometimes the pump breaks, or they run out of water, or this or that, or they're having a drink somewhere, or whatever. So sometimes you're gonna run on a dry track in the day. And for the mains, whatever reason, they just stop watering, or they just water the outsides or whatever. So if you have a main in the daytime, it's also gonna be high grip. So for qualifying, gridirons are good. If you run in the morning or at night, then super soft gridiron will be good. Any other time, then soft gridirons are good. For me, last year I only ran impacts really. I think there was one round which I ran at night. The track was wet, it was dark out, then I ran super soft gridiron. But otherwise I ran soft impacts the whole time. So as long as there's light, soft, as long as the sun is up basically, soft impacts will work. So that for me was the safest choice. They would work when the track was damp, they would work when the track was dry, they would work when the track was dry and getting grippy. So soft impacts are the safest choice. Then if you have a main in the daytime, then you might need a soft long wear impact. That's what I ran last year, because for a longer main, as the tires heat up, then the soft will feel too soft and you'll have too much grip and your car will be edgy. So for a main, you'd like to run a soft long wear impact. So I will basically have super soft gridiron, soft impact, long wear soft impact. Those are the tires I need. What else? If you make an A main, which I hope I will make, the A main would be run on a relatively dry track at night. So the gridiron would wear out. It wouldn't last the whole race. Now, I know Cavalieri won the race once on super soft impact, but I almost feel like super soft long wear impact for nighttime main would be a good choice. So I'm gonna have a couple of sets of them too. So that's the tire choice. So soft impact, best bet. If you run that, as long as the sun is up, you'll be okay. Does this dude have a burger on his cheek? What does that mean? What are you talking about? I lost my comments again. Clancy's a snowflake, we all know that. I think the surface is too dusty and too inconsistent for double downs. Some people like those tires. I don't think they have enough side bite, so they're just harder to drive than impacts. So run impacts. Okay, so let's move on. Talked about tires. Jamie Clancy loves me, clearly. First things first, diffs. Clancy's a virgin snowflake. I don't know. I mean, he might well be a virgin, but he's not fast enough for a virgin. That's the thing. I don't know what's happened there. Maybe him and Embling have done something together. I don't know. Anyway, front diff, I'm going to start with 12,000. I would say my range of diff oil for the front at this track would be 10 to 12,000. 12,000 works everywhere. I feel comfortable with it, so that's what I'm going to start with. Most likely I won't even change it. Going thinner would give me more off-power steering, but I'm not going to need that on the DNC track. Thicker would be calm the car down a bit, but then on power it would be harder to drive, more on-power steering. I'm not going to want that. I'm just going to stick with 12,000. So I recommend you just put 12,000 in the front, be done with it. Center diff, I'm going to start with 15,000, but then this is going to depend on the track layout and the surface. Like if it gets bumpy and dusty, or if it gets a smoother, higher grip groove, and just the layout in general. So I'll start with 15. If my car feels hard to drive, if it feels like I can't connect the sections on the tight sections of the track, or it's hard to drive in rough sections, or if they're really tricky like rhythm sections or something that I can't do, I'll go to a thinner center diff oil, maybe 12,000 or 10,000. 10,000 is really the thinnest I would go. Most likely I'll end up running 12 or 15. If the track is smooth enough and it's high grip and relatively smooth, my car is easy to drive and I just want more drive, I just want to be faster, then I'll go to 20,000 in the center. So the range of oils I'll use in the center is 10 to 20,000, and I'm starting with 15. So basically for you, I would recommend maybe starting with 10 or 12, because the thinner oil will be easier to drive. It's just a bit slower. So for me, because I'm such a pro, really good driver now, I've been practicing, I'm going to start with 15. For you, I don't want to hear you complain, oh, my car's hard to drive, or the JQ sucks. So just start with 10 or 15. I mean, 10 or 12, sorry. If you feel like your car is super easy and you want more drive, go up to 15. If it's still hard to drive, maybe go down to like 8,000, 7,000. Try it, see what you like. But start with, let's say start with 10,000. So I'll go 12 in the front, 10 in the center. Rear diff, I'm gonna go, if you guys use this setup, good luck, you're gonna need it. No, you're not. Don't listen to Glenn. I just told you put 10 in the center and start with that. This is DNC, trust me. Rear diff, 4,000, that's what I'm starting with. I'm not gonna go thinner than that. It's just gonna be harder to drive for me. And the track is big. It's kind of big, fast normally, so yeah, I'm not gonna go thinner than 4,000. If anything, I'll go up on the, most likely I'll stay with 4,000 in the rear. Spencer says, try 13. Where would we put 13? Is that for the center? Yeah, so most likely I'll run 4,000 in the rear diff. If the track is pretty smooth, high grip, and I feel like my rear end is really locked in and it's easy to drive on power, I might go to a thicker diff for like 5,000, maybe even 6,000, just because my car will be faster, carry more corner speed. But I don't think that's gonna happen. Normally, the track is too difficult, and when they water it, it gets a bit slippery, so it would just be too hard to control. So that's the diffs. So I'm gonna start 12, 15, 4. I recommend you do a 12, 10, 4. Your rear end is thin. So Mum liked it last night. Okay, so shocks next. Shocks. Probably in the first practice, I'm gonna run my own gray springs. That's kind of where I start. And then if I feel like, which I normally do, normally I end up doing this, the track is just, the jumps are so big, G-outs, huge jumps, big landings, high-speed sweepers, edgy, the grip is going up. My car is moving too much on the track. It feels soft on the track. Then I will go to the hot bodies yellow, front and rear. That's most likely what I'll end up with. Shock positions, keep standard, which is one in from all the way out on both towers, middle on both arms. That I'm not going to change. I know this is what I like. Unless the track is really crazy, like I can't get my car to work. Maybe I would lean my shocks in, but I'll let you know if I do that. Very doubtful about that. So start with the gray springs, then go to hot bodies yellow if the car is moving too much. I'm going to start with 7-hole 1.3s in the front. Normally I would run 1.25. Lately I've been running the 1.3s. It just smooths the car out a bit. So in sections where you turn left and right, go off camber, like where you have to connect the dots, I feel like the 1.3s are easier to do that. The car flows more. Also, it's a bit better in the bumps. The only downside is it doesn't land as good. So if we again have huge rhythm sections, there's no straightaway really in the front, just big jumps, maybe I would end up running the 1.25s in the front. I'm gonna have both shocks ready, 1.3 and 1.25. I'll figure out which one's best. Don't even bother with the Kyosho springs, not worth it. Yeah, we got some rude comments there. I'm not gonna read that. For the oil, I'm gonna start, well, it depends on the weather completely, but 1.3s in the front, I'm gonna start with 32 if it's a bit cooler and 35 if it's warmer. Rear, I'm gonna run the 1.35s. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm gonna run the whole race. The 1.4s tend to feel too soft on this track, and 1.3s too stiff. 1.35 just right. So 7-hole 1.35. If it's cooler, I'll start with 30 weight oil. If it's a bit warmer, then 32. So the balance will be either 32, 30, or 35, 32 and a half. So that's it. That's it for shocks. Down travel, this track, you need a lot. I'm just gonna run what I normally run. 102 in the front, 122 in the rear. That should be good. What else? So, other than that, I'll run my normal sway bar is 2.3 in the front, 2.6 in the rear. Now most likely that's what I'm going to run the whole race. If the track has some really high speed, high grip sections and I feel like my car is rolling too much, it still feels soft. I already put the Hot Bodies yellow springs on. It's still feeling soft. It's hard to drive at speed on power. I would put the 2.8 rear sway bar on because that just settles the car down, keeps it more flat, more consistent. So maybe I would change the rear sway bar. Front, probably just leave it 2.3. The links, I would run long on the C-hub in the front and long on the hub in the back. That's what I run everywhere now. The only changes to the links that I would do is on the rear. So lower grip, I run the lower hole on the hub. Higher grip, I run the upper hole. And if I change the hub position, I also change it on the tower. So I raise the hole link for high grip and lower the hole link for lower grip. So let's say even at this track, daytime higher grip, maybe I'd run the high link, then nighttime, water the track is damp, it's cold, I would lower the link to get more grip possibly. JQ takeover, Kenny knows. So that's that about the link. Now the rear hub, so I mean on this track, springs, diff oils, sway bars, rear hub position. Those are really key. Now I already explained the shocks, the springs, the diffs. So let's go through the rear hub position because that's something that I will end up changing at this race. I'm gonna start with, see if I can show you here. By the way, this link isn't long because this was a spec cue and I didn't change it yet. So anyway, long arm and this insert here, I'm gonna use the top hole so that hub is as low as possible. So the top hole in the insert with a +1. So the plus is to the inside. So that means I have hub toe in. So I'm going to add 1 degree toe in the hub and the highest hole. So the hub is in its lowest position. Then I'm going to have one shim here and 3 shim behind the hub. That's how I'm going to start. That's basically going to be the most traction, easiest car to drive. If the track gets really bumpy, and it's the kind of edgy bumpy track, so your rear end wants to do this a lot, it catches and wants to either flip over or just starts going from side to side and it's just not smooth, you can't flow around the track. Then what I would do is I would try moving the hub 1 step back, that helps, and also I would start raising the hub. So instead of running the insert with the highest hole, I would go to the next highest or maybe even to the middle. But I think for this track I would still keep the 1 degree toe in. So raising the hub, going from the top hole insert to the middle one, that's going to make the suspension softer so it handles the bumps better, and also it reduces side bite. So instead of the rear end wanting to catch the bumps and start being unstable and hard to drive, it would kind of slide over them more. So raising the hub does that. Also, lengthening the wheelbase helps, as well as when you lengthen the wheelbase, the drive shaft angle is smaller. So again, it handles the bumps better and frees up the rear end a bit. So those changes together is something that I might do, just to make my car easier and flow around the track better. So yeah, that's something that I'll already try and practice to see. So I'll start with the most traction and then I'll see about moving the hub back, raising it, finding the best position for that. What else is there? Those are really the main things that I think I'll change. This is a high-speed track, probably big jumps. I'll also try a couple of different wings. I'll try the Kyosho wing and the associated wing, and also different wing angle, just to get it very stable in the air. other than that, I don't really think I'll be changing much. Oh well, one more thing, anti-squat. Anti-squat is one thing that I will probably change. Normally, if you run more, the car will be faster. So run 2 degrees and the car will be faster. That's probably how I'm going to start the race. If it gets bumpy and rough, then I recommend going to less, to 1 degree. So I would start with 0 pills in here, and then in the C block, then number 1 with the hole up. And then 1 degree would be 0 pills in both. So, Smitty's four-wheel drive carpet associated. Yes, I have a carpet associated too. In stock you run slipper. I don't understand, people. The only difference with the carpet and dirt ones is the center diff and the springs and sway bars it comes with. Come on, people. Why not the stock JQ wing? Well, I feel like on a high-speed track with big jumps, the stock JQ wing isn't as stable. So if it's a lower speed track, then it's fine. But a high-speed track, huge jumps, the Kyosho wing is more stable in the air. So I like that. What's DNC driver prep look like for JQ? What are you practicing leading up to the race? Well, I did my setup testing already some weeks ago. And what I did was, all these changes I basically told you now, I tried at the track. So I tried them at Thunder Alley on a dry track and also on a wet track. So I got the feel for the car in high grip conditions and then the looser kind of wet to drying track conditions, because that's what we're going to have at Nitro Challenge. So I ran through the changes. I ran my springs, the hot bodies yellow. I ran the different pistons. I ran some different diff oils. I ran 2 degree, 1 degree, 1.5 degree. I moved the hub to the middle, moved the hub up, down. So I ran the link high, low. I went through all these changes that I would potentially do at Nitro Challenge, just to kind of remind myself of what they do and how the car feels with them. Then I ended up with the best, which is basically my basic starting setup. And then I've just been running it. So I've just been driving. And we've been going to the track with Cavalieri, and he's obviously pretty fast. Potentially will win the race. He'll be up there anyway, on the podium if he doesn't break. That's almost a given. So to practice with someone like that is very good for me, because I can see the pace I need to go. Obviously, in practice, he isn't quite as fast as he is in racing. That's just always what happens. These guys, when they practice, yes, they focus, they concentrate, but it's different. So they're fast, but not quite as fast as in the race. For me, I'm like, this is my fucking chance to kick this guy's ass. So I'm as fast as I'll be at the race. Maybe even opposite. Sometimes in practice, I'm faster. But the point is, it's a good way to practice. So we've been doing 5-minute runs. So I start like 2 seconds ahead of him, and I start the timer on my radio, and we do a 5-minute run. And I just try and stay ahead of him for as long as I can. Then he catches up, he goes by, and then I try and tag along. So we've been doing these 5-minute qualifying runs at Thunder Alley and Santa Barbara. And that's basically what I've been doing for practice. So the best way to practice for these races is exactly that. So you try the setups that you think you would use at the race, and then you settle on what you're going to start with, and you just run as much as possible. Run in different track conditions and just practice and get comfortable with your car. Yeah, the associated wing is pre-drilled, but the holes are small, so you can still move it. You can still drill your holes somewhere else. Are we going to dinner? Asks Kenny. I don't know. That's if you invite me to dinner, I'll go. Can I pay with food stamps? So, do you have any questions now, or are we done? Because I can't think of anything else that I'm going to change. Talked about tires, gridirons, impact, soft impact being the most safe bet. At night, super soft gridiron, super soft impact. Nighttime main on a dry track. Let's say you make an A main and it's at night and they don't water the track. So the track is kind of dry, how it normally is for the mains, then long wear, super soft impact, I think will be good. Louis, you know that when this Facebook Live is over, you can go and watch it. Okay, kick up, caster and camber, that's a good one. Kick up, I don't change. Kick up on my car, how I run it is just very good. And I don't like messing around with things that change the steering feel in a race, because that leads to mistakes, because the car doesn't do what you expect it to do. Kick up is one of those things. Ackerman is another. So I don't really change Ackerman. I don't really change kick up. The only thing I do change out of those things is caster. So caster does change the steering feel, but it's almost like it just makes it what you normally like. So if your car is good on a like average traction track, it has a certain feel to it. You drive it around the track, it has a certain feel. Then on a high grip track, it will be nervous. Your car will be too nervous and hard to drive. So you add some caster and then it will feel like it used to feel on that average grip track. So I feel like when you change caster to adapt to the conditions, the feeling is still very similar. Ackerman is different. Ackerman will change the point at which the car has the most steering. So it changes the steering feel. Kick up is the same. Caster, I feel, just adapts the car to the conditions, and the overall setup will feel similar. So unfortunately, we were making C-hubs with 20-degree caster, but they aren't ready. I have a few sets, so I'm gonna run it, and you can't, I'm sorry. So 18-degree is standard, and that's what I start with. And then if the track is high enough grip and the layout is pretty open, and I feel like my car is a bit too nervous, not smooth in the sweepers, and I've got too much steering in the tight sections, then I'll go to more caster, which just smooths out the car and makes it easier to drive. Camber is a good one too. Normally I run very little in the front, like, you know how the wheels always have a bit of slop. So measuring at different points, I would say on the front I have like 0 to 1 degree. That's about the range. On the rear I have a bit more. Let's say like I start normally with 1 to 2 degree. So not very much. But on this track, it's high speed, edgy, probably I will go to like 1.5 to 2.5 or 2 to 3 on the rear. So a bit more on the rear than normally. But front, I like to keep pretty low for camber, because it just, I feel it's a lot smoother that way. But another very good tip for this track actually is to increase your toe out on the front, because you want the car to be very neutral and smooth it out on this track, because it's high grip, edgy, bumpy. Conditions are continuously changing because they water the track sometimes. So even on one lap, the traction on different sections is different. So you just want to make it easy to drive. So you don't really need more steering. If you need more steering, okay, you can't run a lot of toe out because it reduces your steering. But on this track, maybe try more toe out on the front than you would normally run, because it will smooth out the car high speed and just make it, it will make it more neutral and easy to drive through the corners. Yeah, some people think more toe out is more nervous. Well, it's actually the opposite. I can see how they think that, because they think, well, the tire's already turning, but actually, if you think about it, you're going straight, which way? So toe out like this, and then you're gonna turn left. So this tire, which way are we going here? This tire is already toed out. When you turn, inner tire has turned more because it's toed out. outer tire, at first it will at some point be straight. So you're already turning, but it's outside tire is going straight instead of turning. You understand what I mean? So you have toe out on the front, you start turning. At that point, this tire is straight. You see? That point, this tire is straight. You're supposed to be going that way. But the tire was towed out so much, after already turning the wheels, it's only going straight. It's not even turning in the direction of the corner. Does that explanation make sense? So more toe out actually makes the car have less steering. Especially high speed, it's easier to drive, and just try it, people. Okay, are we out of questions? That was a good one. What else is there to cover? I think we're out. I think we're done. I think I can continue with work. For me, oh my God, saved. For me, engine, I run it all the way forward. So on the mounts, can't see them, but the engine mounts, the arrow is forward. I use the forward holes. If you're running a JQ, you could actually try the arrows back and use the forward holes for the engine. So then the weight will be a bit further back, 2 mil. It moves back from where I have it, and that actually, it makes the car feel a bit slower. It makes it feel heavier and slower, so you have more time to react to everything. You have less steering in hairpins. It won't jump as good though, so on this track it's a bit of a compromise, but overall it just feels a bit heavier and more stable with that setting. So that's something you might want to try. Ride height, someone was asking about ride height. I'm going to start with 27 front and rear. I mean, I feel like on my car the lowest you can go and get away with is the best. But this track surface is normally pretty rough, so you want the clearance to clear all the tractor marks and balls of dirt on there, so, and rocks and whatever. So 27, pretty safe bet. Front range probably 25 to 28. Front ride height within that. Rear ride height between 26 and 28, I would say. Are you going to win the pit setup competition? Well, guaranteed. We're going to have 4 tents. 4 tents at the end of the pit tables, and quite a few people. I think about slightly over 20 drivers, I think. So that's going to be good. +1 hex is always. Yeah, ride height, I did. What else? Which is the benefit from the rear carbon fiber tower? Nothing if you only change the tower, but it's, you change the tower, all the turnbuckles to titanium, all the balls to aluminium, screws to titanium. When you change everything together and lose 150 grams of weight, that makes a difference. 7 grams or whatever of the shock tower, no difference. It's everything together makes a difference. Actually, you have less mechanical steer with more toe out. Yes, that too. So when you actually have turned all the way, your outside wheel will have turned less. But it's really that initial thing that makes the difference when we drive. In hairpins, yeah, okay, maybe you'll have less steering because of that. But high-speed sweepers, that's where the issues are normally. You'll just calm it down because initial steering is less. Bill, you can go back and watch this from the beginning. I have seen many balancing tires. Is it worth? Yes. It's worth balancing tires, especially especially if they are really unbalanced. For whatever reason, now recently my tires have been very unbalanced, so I've been balancing them, and it does smooth things out. High wing. I use the high wing mount always. I'm definitely not going to shorten my servo wires for this race. Mainly because I'm not gay. And on the subject of sexuality, I'd like to bring something up which was brought to my attention yesterday. So basically, I'm very happy because this is my year. See? Let me put it this way. My sex life is like the Olympics. It comes around every 4 years. And since I'm from Finland, it's the Winter Olympics. And this, my friends, is my year. So I'm pretty confident that I'm going to get laid here very shortly. And I'm pretty excited about that, to be honest. I know this has nothing to do with setup, but we're kind of out. We're kind of done with talking about this. And yeah, it's the Olympics again. So I can't wait. I can't wait. I think they even started already. So Dirt Nitro Challenge should be good. Have a nice tidy pit space. You don't have to balance your tires ever. Balancing your tires is better, you know, so it's your choice. Will I adjust my clutch? No. I'll run my stock clutch, 49 spur gear, 13 clutch belt, 3 shoe aluminium, 2 1.1s, 1 1.0. That's going to be good. Long fuel line. So this is how I do my fuel line. Fuel line goes out there, goes over here. I drill a hole, put a clip there, then it goes around there, then it goes around there, then it goes around here, it goes around there, then it goes around there, then it goes back into the clip, then it goes into the engine there. Long fuel line. Is Scott Walker coming over to keep you company then? No, I don't believe he is. You'll just jerk off. Yerk with a Y. Yerk off as usual. These people. No, I don't watch porn anymore, just like T-Bell. Don't yerk off. 3 shoe. Did I train enough? No, not yet. I'm going to practice some more. And Oscar, how did you find this Facebook Live? You told me you couldn't see them. The Savok servo I bought from JQ USA came with shortened wires. You're lying. I can take Laura to get the Olympics started. Who's this guy and who's Laura? Why do you pronounce aluminium wrong? Why do you pronounce and spell it wrong, retard? It's aluminium, not aluminum. 3-foot fuel line. No exhaust coolers. I don't believe in that shit. Good luck with everything, someone says. Yeah, he's German. They get the Y's and the J's confused. Josef. Just by accident. Well, see? Good accident there. Matthew J. Faggot. Oh, sorry. I misread that. Are you racing Revelation Raceway on Saturday? No. We have some people coming in. They need track time. We can't spend it at a race at Revelation. So we're most likely going to be at Santa Barbara putting in laps on Saturday. I'll send you a pic of the shorter wires. I hope that's not a metaphor or something for something else. Okay. These Facebook Lives are such banter. Will you Facebook Live from DNC? Probably not. Who knows? Are you going to beat the Drake? Yes. And I am eligible for the Cheetah class, Legends class, basically double track time class. So I'm looking forward to that. I need to go there and just lay down the law. So now we have equal track time with the Drake. It's gonna be on. We're gonna see some epic battles. He doesn't talk to me. I always, hey, what's up, man? When I see him, he just walks by. Like he doesn't acknowledge that I exist. So let's see if he acknowledges that I exist on the track. Take a pic with Drake. I'll take a pic with Drake on the podium when I'm standing in the middle and he's next to me. How about that? Do you retune every time between daytime racing and nighttime? I mean, mostly when your engine's good, your tune is good, they stay the same. Maybe a very tiny change, like nighttime, maybe it's a bit lean, so maybe you rich in the top just a bit. Normally, they should be the same. I mean, let's see. I mean, like I said about my the JJ missions, they should be successful now because it's an Olympic year. So I might have a lot of confidence going into this race. You know, if I'm successful there, then maybe I'll be successful on the track too. Maybe it doesn't work like I used to think with the virgins being fast. So maybe that only works when you're young. Maybe when you're older and more mature, you actually, it works against you. So anyway, here's to the Olympics. Okay, we're done. We're dropping under 100 views when we reach 94. We're gonna quit this and have a moment of silence for Ken Roxon. So, how many JQs driving at DNC? Well, at one point it was 25, and then a few people had some issues and they're not going, and it's looking like 21 or 22 JQs. So, it's still good. I'm still happy. What's that you drink? It's Arizona. Arizona Mucho Mango. Fruit juice cocktail. No alcohol. We're still at 99. Kenny Boris is e-bugging it. E-buggy. I mean, we're just gonna have to quit with too many people watching. So if there's no more questions, setup questions. No? That's it? We're done? Okay. I'm gonna get back to work here. E-buggy. Good luck to everyone at DNC, except Drake. No luck. No luck for you. Going down.